G'day everybody. Welcome back to another week of the free analysis video. Hope you are well. So, what am I talking about in the email? Look, Bitcoin's got a bit of it's got its first hurdle, or not hurdle, it's got its first test really for the buyers, okay? So, how do I put this? Look, I read charts, right? I've been doing this for a long time. Over 20 years, I've been looking at charts, and I learned the language of what they're telling me. I'm not just teaching you how to, here's a triangle, go find a triangle. Here's a this, go find a that. I'm teaching you what the chart is telling me back, so that I don't just know what I'm doing, I know why I'm doing it, and I can understand what it is telling me that is going on in price action. And right now, as with always, there's only two things you can do. You can buy and you can sell. That is it. So right now, what we're seeing on as far as this chart is concerned with Bitcoin is we're seeing a real tug of war, a war between those buyers and sellers with nobody coming out on top. As much as we did see last week, Bitcoin rise 2.26%, you have to understand that all of that event occurred on Sunday, up 3.25% in what was a very quiet and consolidated week for Bitcoin. Now, this is not a bad thing either. We've noticed that when we do get a good run on, we'll consolidate for a while, then we move. We're seeing the consolidation portion once again. But what is a little bit more interesting about this consolidation is that we are now up near all-time highs, which will naturally act as a level of resistance in the psychology of market participants, those that are buying or selling. So the war between the buyers and sellers is leaning me towards a conclusion where I believe the higher probability for this week is that we see a continuation of a consolidation, or we start to see a bit of a pullback. So the consolidation theory is that war between the buyers and sellers. How do I see that? We'll have a look at this in the 4 hour. We're up 1.5%, or 1.6. We're down 1.6. We're up 2.5. We're down 2.7. We're not seeing any clear winner with this buying and selling. We are seeing increased volatility. We are not seeing any increased follow through, which means the war is still very much being played out. So when I look at the daily, I see a further consolidation, possibly a pullback down to 120. I still call that part of the consolidation down to about 100. Anything that I would consider to be a pullback would be underneath 100,000, and it would be based on this weekly time frame. Have a look at the weekly here. This is our 6th week in a row that we have printed green for Bitcoin, and that move has not been too shabby at all. It has moved to the high 44%. It's a big move for Bitty. We know Bitcoin can and will often go on these mega runs where we don't look back at all, but we are still early and we are not at new all-time highs. We tend to see those runs, just blistering runs, when we are pushing into new territory. Right now with this resistance ahead, these old highs, I see that there being the potential for a bit of a breather, a bit of a pullback on Bitcoin. That's based on the weekly chart. So I am looking at the reality of possibly seeing a pullback. I am also open to being very wrong. Never have I wanted to be more wrong, ever. And to be honest with you, if I am wrong and we do see Bitcoin smash up through all-time highs, what a great thing to be wrong about, and I would be very happy with that indeed. But I'm reading what the charts are telling me, and it could be a bit of a consolidation. That doesn't mean there's not opportunity out there in the market, because we will see markets that move throughout. As you can see on the below here, we got long trades last week. We got short trades last week. There's still money to be made. You just got to know where to look. Apologies for the nasal voice too. I am in the throes of man flu. So let's go through and have a look at the rest of the market and see what happened, because Bitcoin consolidated last week. Ethereum pulled back last week. Binance pulled back. Cardano pulled back. Doge pulled back. Sol pulled back. XRP pulled back. Tron pulled back. Link pulled back. And AVAX also pulled back, whilst Bitcoin maintained sideways momentum, holding its value. So that leads me now to the Bitcoin dominance chart. To the weekly time frame we go, because you know that I trade in and around these moving averages, the 10 and 20 period. We know that there's been in a really good, strong trend. We know it pulled back, and now what we know is last week we've got a bullish candle. As Bitcoin held its value and alts fell, it meant that the Bitcoin dominance chart increased, and that is what you're seeing on this chart. I will be this week watching very closely to see if we can take out the high of this candle, because if we can take out the high of that candle, what it means is that we very well might likely see Bitcoin go on a bit of a run. Bitcoin dominance go on a bit of a run. And we've seen it many times before in bull runs. Bitcoin's dominance taps out around 70 to 72%. Okay, so I'm watching to see if that narrative is still in motion, because it is in motion. And if that next stage is to occur, I want to be on it. I want to understand what's going on. So Bitcoin dominance in the cradle zone, looking to see if Bitcoin's dominance will continue to move higher. The total market cap last week was also up, looking very, very good. And I will remind you as well, the monthly chart that I've been referring to for quite some time, these are looking fantastic. Total market cap looks great. So far for the month of May, we're 20 days into it, we're up 13.5%. Have a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin's up 12.25%. Beautiful chart. It's all playing out exactly how I had commentated throughout, which has been great. Could this keep moving higher? Absolutely, yes, it could. Do I see Bitcoin moving higher? Absolutely, yes, I do. Based on this monthly chart, I think we're going much higher. It's just at the moment, I also think there's a potential for us to see a little bit of a pullback. Now, as far as trading opportunities go, well, with this consolidation and with many of these markets having pulled back, here's an example here of Ethereum. Bullish candle back in the cradle zone. Candle's too big. It doesn't fit the rules. I am not trading that. So if I'm not finding trades on the daily, like look at this. Binance, there's no trade there. Cardano, there's no trade there. Doge, there's no daily cradles in here. But what I will suggest is that there's no reason why you can't then jump up to the 2-day time frame. There's a bullish candle right there. I had an order raised yesterday on Binance and Cake for this exact position. Okay, it did take out the low, so I've had to cancel that order. Now I've got 19 hours to go until this here candle closes. If that candle does close the way it is now, or maybe a little bit more bullish, there's more than likely, it will more than likely mean that I will be raising an order for a swing trade on Binance. And I love my swing trades, especially at the early stages of a bull market, which I believe that we are facing right now. Why? Well, I get the position on. No issues with liquidity. No worries. You've got a wider stop. You let the thing run for weeks and possibly months if it goes really, really well. And of course, with a stop loss on something like this, let's just go for it here. What would it be roughly? $20. $20.55. Well, if this thing goes up $200, that's a 10x return on my capital, and that would still sit under $1,000. In a bull market, Binance is likely going to perform quite well. It could do $600. It could double from where it is right now, in which case I get a very, very juicy profit for making the right decisions now before the moves occur. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the higher time frames. I'm looking at things like Cake as well. As I said, yes, this is what I had an order in yesterday. Cancel the order. We'll watch that tomorrow. Don't be scared to go to your higher time frames. Don't be scared to swing trade. If I'm going to lower time frame trade, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be looking down here and waiting to see when this 4-hour gives me a trend. At the moment, it's a big ugly mess. And this is the reason why I believe we will see Bitcoin continue to consolidate throughout the week, or possibly even see a bit of a pullback. Keep in mind, a pullback to me means it will be trading below $100,000. I'd love to see the consolidation play out. That's what I think is highly probable. I'd like to see the consolidation play out above 100,000. Whilst this war goes on, the buyers and the sellers, eventually, the longer the war continues at this moment in time, I believe the buyers will come out on top. If the sellers win, I think it will be a short rip down before we see further upside. So no matter which way you skin this cat, it looks really, really good for the future. It's just a matter of sort of waiting a little while now and seeing what comes of it, and trading those higher time frames where you've got a wider stop, a little more wiggle room for things to sort themselves out if the trade is there. So if you want to learn the checklist trading strategies that I use and join this amazing Discord group, then please do. The link is in the email. It's just below here. Join us up now. You've got a lot of bull market to go. And don't forget, when you're trading, you can make money when the market goes up. You can also make just as much money when the market goes down. We've got a whole cycle to play out here, ladies and gentlemen. Jump in now, and I'll see you in Discord. Have a good day. Speak to you again next week. Bye for now.